Hello students, how are you? I hope everybody is feeling good wherever you are. So as you can see over here, we are now in week 4 for English 1 for Diploma 3, KU31101. And as you can see over here, the topic for this week is about environment. Okay, so a lot of students, I noticed, they mispronounce the environment into environment. So that's an incorrect pronunciation. So the word to express, the pronunciation to express this word is environment. Okay, so you may want to pause this video first and then you say environment. Okay, so for this topic environment, we're going to talk about yes, so we're going to have a quick review from last week's material, and then we will discuss about the objective of the lesson for today, for this week, and then we will talk about the environmental organizations, and then for the grammar this week, we will talk about models identification, and then we'll do some practices later on. Okay, so now a very quick question over here. Because last week we were talking about home industry products and we talked about the features of home industry products, and you have mentioned some products that you think is that you can explain. Now my question here in the review will be, what kind of home industry products do you find unique and why do you think this product is unique? Let's say for example rattan, and you find this product unique because it is very original or it's very natural, something like that. Okay, so for this question, please answer, and then later in the practicum we will discuss this question. Now for this week we'll be talking about texts that are related to environment. Okay, and for the first one we will talk about the environment organization. And then after that, we will also comprehend some of the functions of modals, if you want to say that easier. And then we will identify the function in the text. So not only the function of modality itself, but also the use of it in the text. So first of all, we will look at these two pictures. So this is a picture on the left side. You can see there's environmental degradation, and this one it's a very good nature where it's green and there's rainbow and everything. Yeah. So my question for this warm-up activity will be, what is your opinion about the environment nowadays? Yeah, so what is your opinion about the environment nowadays? Probably you can say it's getting better, it's getting worse, and why? Okay, so for this question, I would like you to post your answer in the YouTube comment. Please note, when you're writing your answer, please write down your ID, underscore your name, underscore your class. So it's easier for me later to check whether you post it online or not. Okay, so post your answer in the YouTube comment. So you may want to pause this recording first, pause this video first, and then post your answer in the YouTube comment now. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that you have heard some of the environmental organizations, although maybe you're not too familiar with it. I'm not sure. I'll come with maybe the first one. WWF, for wildlife fauna, if I'm not mistaken, and this is one of the example of environmental organization. And for the second warm-up activity, I have one quick question for you, one instruction. List some local and international environmental organizations, sorry I missed that S over here, that you know. Yeah, so list some of the local and international environmental organizations that you know, because that will be our topic for the reading. the reading today will be about young environmental heroes. So with this reading, as you can see, this is actually talking about a local organization, a local environmental organization, and you are kind of being invited to become the member of this organization. Okay, so with this reading, again, I'm asking you to read by yourself and record your voice. And if you have words that you don't understand, you are most welcome to ask me in the class, or you can also Google it before the class. And if you get stuck, you still can ask me. Okay. Now for a very quick reading comprehension questions. There are 4 reading questions over here. So please answer these questions in your own notes. Okay, and make sure in the practicum you are able to share these answers. And please do it by yourself. Okay, now we will talk about the grammar, which is about modal. So as I have introduced you to the objective for this week's video, we'll be talking about the function of modal verbs, and then we'll be talking about the use of modal verbs in the text. So what are we going to see? The first one is we're going to have a look at the sample of modal verbs, the characteristic, and then the use of modal verbs. So this one are the modal verbs. So we have should, would, must, can, could, have to, may, might, and etc. And then there's a verb over here, and if it is not followed by verb, then you put be plus the adjective over there. Okay? Now the characteristic of modal verbs, there are 4. The first one is we usually use modal verbs with other verbs, not alone in the sentence. So for example, you cannot say I must. What can you must? Yeah, so you cannot really say must without any other verbs following it. And then we cannot change the form of the modals unless, like for example, I think you can change can into could, but could itself is actually a modal. Yeah, and then we cannot add ed, ing, s or es to the main verb that follows the modal verb. So for example, if you want to say she can sing, so you cannot say she can sings. Okay, and then the last one, we normally do not use to after the modals unless the modals itself already has to in it. Like for example, I have to or she has to. But the other one, like for example, I must, you cannot say I must to because it's incorrect. Okay, now we'll talk about the use of the modal verbs. As you can see over here, there are quite extensive use of modal verbs. Now we'll go one by one. So the ability. So for the ability, yeah. So you're talking about you are being able to do something. Yeah. So I can run 3 kilometers in 1 hour. Can you sing any song? So these are the examples of ability. Now about willingness, of course, you use will, expression of will or shall. I'll be happy to come to your party, or shall I get you anything to drink? And I would love to hear your story. So you can say, you can use will or would. And the other one. And then you can also use will to express future things. For example, I will attend the meeting tomorrow, or she will depart tomorrow's evening. So I think the function of the modals can also interchangeable. It really depends on the context. Yeah. So the previous one we were talking about that, and then this one we were talking about the future. And then now we talk about the obligation. So using the obligations, for the obligation functions, you can use must, have to, or should, but it really has a different degrees of obligation. For example, if you say should, then it's more like a suggestion rather than an obligation. Although you can say you should eat, you kind of give a strong advice, but if you say you must eat, then it's stronger than should, something like that. Yeah, like this. Yeah. Now we talk about the certainty and uncertainty. You can use may or might. So you're not certain about something. Possibility, she may maybe attending Eve's birthday party tonight. So you're not really sure about it. And then if you want to ask for permission, you can also use can, could, or may for permission. And you know, can actually use for the ability, but apparently can also means asking for permission. Or yeah, so could or may are used in a more formal situation and tend to sound more polite. So in summary, you can see over here, for ability you can use can, willingness you can use will, shall, or would. Future, I think you can also still use will and shall over here. Permission, you can use can, could, or may. Obligation, you can use must, have to, or should. Certainty, you can use may or might. And then possibility, you can also use may and might. Yeah, okay, so those are the use of models, okay, and the functions of the models. So we will now come to the practice. There are 3 quick questions over here. I want you to choose based on the context. Okay, remember we were just talking about that some modals have actually more than one function. Like for example, will can talk about willingness, can also talk about the future. So which do you think is more into the context over here? Yeah, so answer these questions and then make sure that you have the answer to these questions. Okay, once you've done with that, now we will do the second practice. For the second practice over here, as you can see, the question is, I want you to identify the use of modal verbs in the reading that you just had. Okay, so it was about Tunas Hijau Club, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so from this reading, I want you to identify the modals that are used in this reading. And then also identify the sentence. Okay, so for example, I'm going to give you one example. Okay, so you may join this organization if you think that this organization is helpful for the environment. So that's one sentence. Okay, and then later try to identify as well the function of the modal verbs in the sentence. Yeah, so find as many as you can the modals in this text, and then after that identify the function of this text, the modals in the text. Okay, and for the last one, practice 3, identify and classify the modal verbs used in the following passage. So I gave you a new passage over here, so it's about inviting people to protect the environment. Okay, of course, when you're inviting people, there are a lot of models I think you should use. We can talk about future, we can talk about willingness, we can talk about invitation and permission, you know, something like that. Okay, so there may be a lot of there may be a lot of modalities that you can see over here. Therefore, I want you to look at the modals from this text, and then later identify the function, and then later you can also classify the modals based on the functions. Okay, so you can come up with your own table. Of course, over here what you will fill out is not only the modalities but also the sentence. Okay, so for example, you must will be an obligation, but what is the sentence? So you need to write down the full sentence so that we are able to identify it, whether it's correct or not. Okay, and yeah, so that's for the practices for this video, but obviously there will be a quite extensive practice again in the practicum. So have a look at the slide in the practicum, so don't miss the slide in the practicum, because that will be your individual practice for get the grammar and to integrate the topic for today, which is about the environment. Okay, so and we talk about the environmental protection for the practicum discussion. Okay, so don't leave don't forget to check the materials in the practicum session, everyone. So yeah, after this, go and download the materials there and do the exercises as well. Okay, and that actually will bring me to the end of my video. So next week we'll be talking about advertisement, and as you can see from our syllabus, week 5 will be our week to discuss about the assignment and the assignment collection. So you may want to prepare it by yourself first, and then if you have questions later, you can ask me. Okay, check the syllabus, and there is a discussion of the assignment 1 in the syllabus. Okay, so these are the references for this video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the practicum session. If you have questions, do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.